So there are more visual representations of data that we will talk about a little bit at different stages of this course. One being the scatter plot and another being the box plot. But for now, I'm going to round up these visual representations lastly with the stem and leaf plot. The stem and leaf plot is nice because it gives more specific data as well as giving a visual, but it's really only good for smaller amounts of data. So if you have a large data set, it doesn't work very well anymore. So a graph, a stem and leaf plot. Here, let me just see what happens if I just put the stem and leaf plot, which is the data which is in column 13. Okay, so let's just see if I don't say anything, what happens. Okay, so this is what I got. Minitab made some choices for me because I wasn't telling it what I wanted. But basically, there are two main elements of the stem and leaf. There's the stem, and there is the leaves that come off of the stem. Here, the stem is 0, and one of the leaves is 1. So this data point represents a 0 with a 1. So 0, 1 is 1. 0, 1 is 1. So here, what it's saying is there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 data points that are all 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, put a 0 with a 2, that value is a 2. There happens to be 3 2s. Okay, so here when you get to the stem of 1, so this stem, 1 with this leaf, 5, one of the data points is a 15. Okay, and this stem, 1 with this leaf, 7, one of the data points is a 17. Okay, so here you can see there are 2 values that are 10s. There's a 15, there's a 17, there's a 20, there is a 25, there is a 30, actually there are 2 30s, and there is a 40. Okay, so that's what's going on with the stem and leaf. Okay, so your question is, why do I have 2 stems that are both zeros? So Minitab made some decisions for us. Here it's split up one stem into the lower than lower than 5. Okay, so here you'll find all leaves are under 5. Here all leaves are higher than 5. Okay, we don't have to have that be the case. Let's redo this. Okay, where are my graphics? Where's the stem and leaf? Okay, so here I want the same data, but here I'm going to tell it that I want the stems to be jumping by increments of 10. I get a little bit different of a stem and leaf. So here these are all the values that start with 0. So these are all the 1s. These are all the 10s. These are all the 20s. These are all the 30s. These are all the 40s. Okay, so here again, you could say 0 with, there is only one value that is 4. However, there are 1, 2, 3 5s. There are 3 6s. There's 1 8. There are 2 10s. There's a 15, there's a 17. Here I've got a stem. It's just in terms of jumping up in 10s. Because there's not a whole, basically, you can do this with this kind of trick with your student ID numbers. If your student ID numbers all start with the same 6 digits, then all the information you really need is just the last 4, like credit cards. Well, credit cards all start with the same 4 digits or whatever if they're from the same company. All that really matters is the last. So that's like the stem that's a little bit useless. So there are a few different stems here, and then the leaves, that's kind of the part that's holding the information. Okay, so you can make your stems however you want to. So here in the stem and leaf, you can make your stems jump by whatever value you want to, which is fine. Let's say we just want to go up by 1s. This is going to be a little bit silly because here we don't really have any decimal values. But if we did, maybe this would be useful. Okay, so here we're saying, here we're saying some complicated things like how many 1s are there? There are 5. How many 2s are there? There are 3. How many 3s are there? And so forth. But this is just giving me the decimal place after. So this is 1.0 and 1.0 and 1.0 and 1.0. So here I've kind of made my data doesn't have decimal points, so it's sort of the choice that I've made here, the unit choice that I've made is a little silly, but you can see the idea. Okay, now let's talk about this column, what's going on here, this outer column? So let's see some of our previous examples. Okay, so what this is saying is that the cumulative amount of data from this point, there are 14 data points here. Okay, when you see the value in brackets, it means the median, the middle number, is included in this area. Okay, so somewhere the median is included in this area, and it happens to have 7 points. And then we've got cumulative going on here as well. So this is a little bit, where's the best example of how to show this? Okay, so here there are 5 data points, and an additional 3 data points, that makes 8. So this is cumulative. So I have 8 data points in total, and then I add on these 5 more. I've got 13 data points now in total. Add on this 1, I've now got 14 data points. This stem actually contains the median, which apparently is 5. So the median is 5 here. And now, instead of going up, it goes down. Okay, which is kind of odd. There are 13 data points. I removed 3 of them. Now there are 10. There are 10 data points. I removed 1 of them. Now there is 9. 9 data points. I don't remove anything. 9 data points. I remove 2. Now there is 7. Okay, so this outer column's a little confusing, really, but it's just trying to give you a hint of how many data points there are on either side of the median. It's not a super big deal, this outside point. It's not really part of the stem and leaf. Minitab just puts it on there for convenience, if you find it convenient. Okay.